In today's video, we're going to review sine law and cosine law for last year. Both of these formulas can be used when we're dealing with non-right angle triangles. And we remember that our small letters, lowercase letters, represent side lengths. So let's just put this, and maybe you want to add this in your notes. Lowercase letters are the side lengths. And all of our capital letters represent our angles in degrees. It's the same thing here for cosine law. These are all of our side lengths. And with our capital here, that is our angle. So both of these formulas are used to solve for unknown side lengths and unknown angles in triangles. We're going to look at sine law first, and then we'll look at a few examples with cosine law, and then how we can decide the difference between the two and when we use which one. So our first triangle, we'll sketch out one here. Let's just make that a little bit neater. Our first triangle, capital A. The letters that you use don't matter. You can use any letters when identifying them. So we'll put 95 degrees in for angle A, 2 for our measurement there, and 33 degrees. So when we're solving it, we start to substitute into our formula. So I'm going to use A because I know the angle for A, and I'm also going to use C because I know the side length and the angle. I always need to be sure that I'm choosing one ratio that I know both, top and bottom, and the other ratio I use is what I'm looking to solve. So in this case, I'm solving for side A, small a. So that has to be in the ratio. We only ever use two ratios. So here my side A is what I'm looking for, and I know sine 95 is the angle. For small c, I know that that length is 2, and the angle is 33 degrees. Just another little reminder from last year, how I know that 2 is side C is they're always corresponding opposite each other. So the angle, the side that I'm looking for here is side A, always directly opposite of the angle you know. So then we're going to cross multiply. So I have 2 times sine 95 is equal to small a over sine 33. Then I know to isolate for small a, I just divide by sine 33 so that these cancel out. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. Now all of this can be done in your calculator to find that side A has a length of 3.66 units. Be sure to take the time and pause the video and use your calculator to ensure that you're getting the exact same number. Another example for sine law now, when we want to solve for angle instead of side length. So if we know that this one is 60 degrees, and we have a length of 20 and a length of 30, and we want to solve for angle C, call that theta. So we're looking for angle C. We have to be sure that one of our ratios has C in it, one of the ratios that we need. So small c over sine C. And my other full ratio here would be B. I know side B is 30 units and the angle is 60. So we can substitute in everything we know. Sine C is equal to 30 over sine 60. Again, we cross multiply. So I have 20 times sine 60 is equal to 30 times sine C. Now in order to isolate for that sine C, the first thing we have to do is divide both sides by 30. And now in order to get angle C all by itself, I have to take the inverse of sine on both sides. So what it looks like in your work is the inverse of sine 20 sine 60 all over 30. And that will isolate for angle C. So when you use your calculator, you have to be sure that you use your inverse button, also called your second function on some of your calculators. So again, you'll need to practice with your calculator, ensure that you can get that to work. So you hit inverse sine, brackets, 20 times sine 60 divided by 30, and close your brackets. If put into your calculator correctly, your final answer would be 59. Oh, excuse me, that's not correct. Let me redo that there for a minute. If put into your calculator correctly, you would have a final answer of 35.3 degrees. Don't forget your little symbol is angle C. Now let's review cosine law. I have the formula here to help remind us. The letters can be changed in order depending on what you're looking for. Whatever the unknown is on one of the extremities must be what you're looking for. So for example, I'm looking to solve here for side C or angle C. Letters don't matter, depends on what you're solving for. So we might have E, F, and G. So again, our extremity letters must be what we're looking for in a triangle. So I'm either looking for side F or angle F, and then my inside letters are corresponding. So for a triangle here, let's look for side length first, just like we did for sine law. If we had angle A, B, and C, I'll just point out here that I have a contained angle in between two sides that I know. That'll become important when we need to decide which formula on our own. So if I'm solving here for side C, so small c is what I'm looking for, then I have to be sure that that's the letter that comes first. Side C equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cos C. Now it's important that you're writing out the formula every time to help you, one, to memorize it, and also to keep yourself organized. So side C, I don't know. A is 15, remembering that it's always the side that's across from the angle. That's how I knew it was 15. My B is 10 minus 2 times 15 times 10 times cos, that's a capital C, angle 30 degrees. I'm going to do more work than need be here, just to be sure that everybody's following along, but your calculator can do a lot of these steps together for you. All the way across, this is multiplication here. That reads 2 times 15 times 10 times cos 30. Pause here, check your calculator to ensure that you're doing that correctly. C squared equals 65.2, and in order to isolate for C, not C squared, I have to square root both sides. And if everything's done correctly, you should get a length of 8.07 units. One last example here that we'll do together is now using cosine law to solve for an unknown angle. So let's just change our letters to be sure that we can write our formula, M, N, and O. So we're going to look for angle N. That'll be our unknown in this one. And we know all side lengths of 10, 11, and 12. Because it's angle N that I'm going to be solving for, I need to start with side length N. And I have my other ones written in here. Minus 2MO cos N. So I can substitute in, being sure that this is 11, the corresponding side matters, that's side N. My M is 12, and my O is 10. And I'm not sure what angle N is yet. Again, I'm going to go through all of the steps to be sure that everybody can see where our numbers are coming from. Order of operation is going to be very important in this question. So keep in mind that this is multiplication all the way across. So I cannot work from left to right here. I can't solve 144 plus 100 minus 240 because these are attached, so to speak, because it's multiplication. So I'm going to take my 121 and subtract 244 from it because this is going to change sides using basic algebra. So I'm left with negative 240 cos n. Do not work from left to right in this stage. So what I have here is a negative 123 divided by negative 240. I have to divide both sides by negative 240 so that these cancel out and I'm left with cos n all by itself. Again, I need to take the inverse of it anytime that I'm looking for an angle in order to isolate for just angle n. So I have 123 over negative 240 for angle n now to solve. I didn't have to show these negatives here because we know that two negatives equal a positive. So when you put it in your calculator, you can do it as a positive fraction. Don't forget to use your second function button of cos. 123 divided by 240. And if done correctly, you would have an angle of 59.2 degrees is equal to angle n. In the past, teachers may have shown you different methods of choosing the appropriate formula. And I'm going to go through it the way that I find best for students, sort of as a little checklist for yourself. If you look at a triangle that has a 90-degree angle, if you answer yes to yourself that there is a 90-degree angle in it, then you're going to use your trig ratios, that SOHCAHTOA abbreviation, helping you remember which one to use, your sine, cos, or tan. If you answer no, that there's no 90-degree angle in it, then you have to check for two things. Side angle side, if that's what you know about a triangle, and I mentioned that in the abbreviation above. If you know two sides and the contained angle, the angle that makes those meet at those two sides, that side angle side, or if you know all three sides. If I know x, y, and z, if I know the lengths of those three sides, so if I say yes to either of those checks, then I'm using cosine, the cosine law, and if I answer no, everything else then would fall under the sine law. So hopefully that flowchart will help you make the appropriate decisions. We will work at our homework tomorrow for anyone looking to work ahead. We're going to be at page 326 in class, numbers 3 to 8 and 12.